The markets are getting spicy. And I'm not talking about spicy, how you guys get your margaritas at Las Palmas or Chewy. I'm talking about downright dangerous, downright down with velocity. Oil is still rising. The war in Iran is elevating oil to never be seen levels. Is it a time to short or get long? And with crypto lagging worse than your Xbox 360 in the year 2005, we will talk about what to do next and how to protect your portfolio. As always, welcome to Nova Street Finance. Today, we will make you enough money to get you endless CC Pizza cinnamon rolls. And I'm talking endless. Always subscribe for more insight and DM me for any private lessons or anything of that sort if you want to really take a hold of your finances and learn this market. And one important thing before we get into it, Timothy chapter 6 verse 10 says, "For money is the root of all evil." So what does that mean? We shouldn't idolize money. Money is a great thing, but it says also in Timothy chapter 6 verse 18, command them to do but also in Timothy chapter 6 verse But also in Timothy chapter 6 verse 18, it says, command them to do good, to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share. Meaning, we don't need to idolize money. Money should be a tool for you to be generous, rather with your family, people that are struggling, and yada yada. With that said, let's get to the charts.
Sitting down 875 points.
We've now broken down 10,000. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped more than 900 points.
Markets didn't work. It broke down. The machines broke down.
Fear came back into the market in a very big way.
Okay, before we dive into the charts, we're going to take a look on how the portfolio is doing. Let's pull this up. Boom. We can see for this week, right, from the 16th, pull this up. From the 16th to the 20th, basically, as you can see here, this week, we have made a realized profit, meaning the money you take home, the money you pay bills with, right? They're not our long-term plays that we have, like right over here, right? They're not these, right? These stocks that we're holding, right? Or even as like all these long-term trades that would take 56 days, as you see here, right? No, they're not that, right? They're money that we traded every single day, and we traded for income, right? As you can tell, today I made around $600, $612. My new aim is around 300. Really, my aim is $600 a day now, but I think we averaged, how much did we average this week per day? This week we averaged around $435, right? If we go look at, right, 2 weeks, how much did we make in 2 weeks take home, right? Remember, take home about 3,000, right? So, and this is just 3,000, right? We're trading, this is for income, right? They're just not our long-term trades. We're trying to make at least 500, 600 a day, but that's just how I've been trading, right? I won 70% of the time. We have some losses over here, which is fine, but yeah. Let's get into how you can do some of these things. All right, looking at the charts, right? Looking at the S&P 500. Before we get into how to trade this, I want to get into something really, really big, right? The VIX, right? What is the VIX? It's basically a volatility index, right? It's giving you fear in the market in an actual number, right? It's basically saying how scared are we in the market, and it's going to tell you this in a number, right? So under 15, it's a calm market. You can expect prices to go up, maybe like this, right? Calm market, you have calm VIX, right? 20 VIX is rising fear, like, oh snap, what's happening? Oh, we just attacked our rand. We're getting fearful, right? Then you'll see this downward motion over here, right? Then VIX over 30s generally when you're getting into crash. Think of like COVID crash, like I'm sure this was a 30 VIX. We'll take a look at it. April 4th, right? Let's go to VIX here. VIX, boom. April 4th, look at that. It went to 50 actually, right? So anytime you see VIX above that number, you get your big crashes as you see here, right? So looking at the S&P 500, we literally just broke the 200-day simple moving average. And why this is so big, and this is the blue line plotted right here, right? Why this is so big, right? Anytime we go under it, that's when we see our big crash, right? That's when we see VIX get in the 30s and we get our big crashes, right? Right now, VIX is sitting at, we'll go back to VIX. VIX is sitting at 26 right now. So not too bad. It's still pretty, everybody's still pretty scared, but you know, it's not to 30 to 40 yet, right? But we just broke that. So this is a really, really big thing for SPY, and how I would advise you guys to trade, right? And how I would advise you guys to trade the S&P 500, right? Honestly, I would go here, type in SPYM, right? Enter, and I would buy shares of the micro S&P 500, because anytime it hits this line, as you can, since 2021, you buy it here, it's gonna go up, right? If you bought anytime it hits the blue line, right? So you bought here, bought here, bought here, you're gonna make money if you just hold, right? 2021 or 20, COVID, right? Bought here, bought here, bought here. You're gonna make money, right? You will make money. So for SPY, right? No options on this one. I think the best trade is going with the micros, and even probably get in the future, just buying shares right now for the long haul. That's how I'll trade this. Okay, we're gonna try to make this a quick episode. Moving to oil, right? USO. As you can tell, oil, your gas prices are still very, very high, right? We are still not having a good time at the gas station. Boom, especially if you're driving a truck, right? Let's draw a truck for you guys. Let's draw a TRX. Let's see how bad I can do this. How the heck do you draw a truck? I need to go back to drawing school. Is this how you draw a truck? Oh my goodness. Let's draw the cab. This is the cab. How the hell do you draw a truck? Hold on. Let me draw another truck. Boom, 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 boom. This is what a truck looks like, bro. Don't flame me, bro. This is what a truck looks like. That is a, you cannot tell me that is not a truck. But anyway, right? Gas is up. How can you trade this? Simple. Let's make an iron condor. What an iron condor is, right? We're thinking price is going to stay basically the same. We don't think gas prices are going to go all the way down yet, but we don't think it's just going to keep on going to new highs, right? We think it might stay elevated, but we won't think it's going to go back down to normal gas prices. So basically, we're going to do an iron condor, right? We're going to say we think it's going to stay between 30 and 100, right? And we'll structure a trade that's basically saying we think oil is going to stay in here for, let's say, 12, we'll say 12 days, right? We think it's just going to chop around. Going to trade, right? And this is how, you know, you make your money. Go to trade. We said 100. Boom. You're going to sell the 100. You're going to buy the 95, right? We'll do that. Then we said 130. Oh, geez, look at these prices. We're going to sell the 130 and we're going to buy the 135. So basically, we sold the 130, meaning we want it to stay below 130. Anytime you're selling something, you want it to stay below it. So we sold the 130, right? Sell, you see where it says sell right there? We're going to sell the 130. Then we also sold the 100 because we want it to stay above, right? For puts, you want to stay above. For calls, right, when you sell stuff, you want to stay below. So, right, we sold that, and then we went 5 away, and we just bought protection because you guys, it's pretty expensive to do things naked, right? So, doing the trade. So, looking at this trade, right, we said we were going to sell the 130, right? Boom, we're going to sell the 130. Then we said we was going to also sell the 100, right? So, and we chose 12 days, right? So the days equals 12, right? So max 12 days. So if it stays in between this, right? We make $103. Boom. $103 per contract. If you had 10 contracts, that would be, if you had 10 contracts, right? That would be 1,030, right? So you can pick how much contracts you want, right? So one contract was 103, 10 contracts was 1003. Your max loss on this is going to be 397, right? How did we get that, right? We sold. How did we get that, right? We sold the 130, then we bought the 135. That's a width of 5, right? So we received 103, right? So remaining 500 minus 103 is 397, right? So you don't have to do math, it'll just tell you. But yeah, if it goes way out, your max loss would be 397. If it gets here really quick, right? Let's say if it gets here really quick, you won't be down 397. You'll probably be down 100, if that, maybe $70, right? Even if it gets way down here, you wouldn't be down. Like, this is also 397 max loss on this side, right? But like we said, even if it gets way down here, you won't be down the whole 397. You'd probably be down maybe $70, right? The real 397, if the stock drops way, right? If the stock drops way down here, then you might see that $397 loss, right? But this is a trade, I feel like. We think oil is going to stay up, right? And we're just basically going to play it being elevated, may come down a little bit. But yeah, this trade is pretty good, I think, because we think oil is going to be elevated, right? It may go up. Who knows? It may go down a little bit. The conflict may be good. The conflict may be getting better. Then, oh my gosh, a torpedo strikes a boat. Then this goes back up, right? We think it's going to stay in this range. That's how I'll probably play oil. Trade 3, crypto. This time, let's go to XRP. Why not? My gosh, XRP looks like a rat. My goodness. So, XRP looks pretty radish, I would say. How I would trade this is, what can we do here? We could do a lot of things here, right? Like, what I would do here is basically going to be a broken wing butterfly, kind of, right? So, what this is going to look like, right? This is how the, let me draw how the profit look like, right? If it stays up here, you'll make a defined amount, but if it drops down here, you'll make a lot, right? So basically, just for like example, right? If it's up here, you'll make 50. If the stock goes up here, you'll make 50. But if it stays down here, you'll make like 300, right? Right, that's just an example. I'm not looking at the numbers first, right? But if we go to it, right, I'm not going to show it on this because it's going to be kind of confusing. So this is a good website, Option Strat. It tells you, it visualizes what profits will look like, right? If you're still getting confused, right? Let's try to construct a trade, right? Let's try to construct our broken week butterfly. You know what I'm about to just do? Bye-bye. Boom. All right. Okay, so boom. I constructed our broken wing butterfly like we talked about here, right? So we said we wanted to do something like a broken wing butterfly. So I got that right here, right? As you can tell, this is the stock price right now. If it goes down, right, in April 17th, right? So next month, if it goes down, we can make upwards from $300 per contract, right? So we kind of want it to go down, right? So if it goes down to what, $12 per share? So we're looking at the chart. So if it goes down, right? If it goes down, so if it goes down here, right? If it goes down and hits 12 and expires there, right, in our certain amount of days, right, we get our full, or we get, in that case, we get about $200. Let's see, at 13. So if it goes to 13, you basically get your full $300. So this is how, and what we did, right? We bought a put, we sold 2 puts, and it was kind of weird. It's called a broken wing butterfly. And we bought another put, right? So basically, if I wanted to do that in the options, right? If I wanted to do that here, I think we sold the 13 put 2 times. So we have a quantity of 2. We bought a 15 put, and then we sold, and we bought a $7 put, right? So boom, we get our credit. In this case, they're saying you're gonna get $1.30, right? If I analyze that, it looks exactly the same, right? It looks exactly the same as a website, right? See, exactly the same. Exactly the same. Kind of looks kind of uglier here, to be honest. But yeah, you get the picture. Looking at what I did today, right? These are really my day trades, right? This is what I really day trade with. These are more long-term plays. These are also long-term plays. You can see I traded a whole bunch and I came up with $612, right? That's my goal every day, which sounds crazy, but I'm doing it. Around $600 every single day. Now it is, right? If we go look back, right? Let's go back here. Let's see what I did. March. So if I just do today, around, well, because of fees and stuff, 572. If I do 19, which is yesterday, 19, what did I make yesterday? 617, right? So as you can see, every day, right, we want to be making around 600 to 500 a day. You know, 600 a day will keep the doctor away. I think that's the new saying, right, for us. But yeah, super quick episodes. Just wanted to give you guys a weekly update. If you guys have any questions or want to learn more how to trade like me, like I say, I don't really like to get super in depth because you're not going to really learn everything. Actually, I'm going to start explaining things. Maybe I just focus on one thing and explain everything like you're a 4-year-old kindergarten. Is kindergarten people even, what grade is kindergarten? I'm so out of touch. I'll explain everything like you're in 6th grade, right? 6th graders now are kind of smart, to be honest. But I'll explain everything super simple. But this episode is basically trades I'm looking about taking and just a weekly update. Like we said, from now on we want 600. Really, from 300 to 600 a day. Our end goal is going to be 1,000 a day, which is very doable. All we have to do, like we say, right? The good thing about options trading, right, instead of scaling businesses, right, all we have to do is that, right? If 5 is 600, Boom. We click this button. Now it's 1,000 a day, right? Or whatever, right? So that's what I love the stock market. It is the best money building. It is the best wealth building thing ever. And if you're not taking advantage of it, I don't even know what to tell you. Hopefully you're working at Wendy's because that place is awesome. But I will see you next time. Please comment on something I can do better, or comment on any stocks you want me to review, or any trades you guys are thinking of. See you later.